It is a very good morning to you all and welcome to the Breakfast Club right here on Asake. My name is Fungai Mawada. In the year 2021, the World Health Organization released the Road Safety Review Report, and in that report, it highlighted that Zimbabwe had the highest fatalities caused by road accidents in Africa. And of course, it's no secret that we always encounter road accidents, whether you're on the highway, whether you're in your neighborhood, and in different areas. In light of this issue, one brave gentleman, Mr. Nothiwani Dlodlo, came up with the concept of the Roadside Emergency Clinic, a concept of alleviating road fatalities in Zimbabwe, getting the victim to the hospital or helping them before they get to the hospital. So I am joined by him this morning on the Breakfast Club. Good morning, Nothiwani, and welcome to the Breakfast Club.
Morning. Thanks so much for having me here.
All right. So maybe people would want to know, who is Nothiwani Dlodlo and how did you come up with the concept of the Road Emergency Clinic?
Yeah, uNothiwani Dlodlo isizalwa esisuka eMberengwa under Chief Ngombane, Mvundla village. So when I read that World Health Organization road accident review report, that's when I just thought of coming up with a solution to that report.
All right. So like I highlighted in the introduction, we're all impacted one way or another by AMA road accidents, whether you're a direct victim of AMA road accidents and the likes. So take us through the steps of how you wrote to the World Health Organization and their response, especially towards your appeal.
Yeah. As a person who is driven by passion, I'm very passionate about my community, my country, or my society. So before this concept, I have developed some concepts which were also driven by passion. Unfortunately, they didn't come up well because somehow they were hijacked. You see, when you hijack a concept from its developer, it won't come properly. So this time around, after going that report, I developed this concept. I just pray what I have in mind and how I want it to be through the assistance of your media house.
It will come to fruition.
It will come to fruition.
All right.
Yeah.
So what is the idea like for the Road Emergency Side Clinic before we get into how you wrote to the World Health Organization, the likes? What is your idea behind it?
Yeah, the idea is you cannot say you are having a roadside emergency clinic or an emergency facility without key stakeholders or key emergency facilities that have to deal with accidents. So it's not an ordinary clinic. When an accident happens, some of the accidents, they need fire brigade. Every accident has to be attended by police. And when people are involved in an accident, they have to be taken some x-rays. So you cannot say you are having an emergency clinic without an ambulance, without a police post, because you are attending an emergency issue. You need to save life. Then you have a clinic here, then you have a police station which is 3 kilometers or 20 kilometers away. So now you have to phone the police station, and the police station, somehow, they have 1 or 2 vehicles. Maybe those vehicles will be on operations. So now we are saying this roadside emergency clinic has to be like a one-stop service to the accident victims, so that we rescue lives as soon as possible, as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So looking back, so what was your first initial step in trying to set up this road emergency clinic? Did you first write to the World Health Organization? I know you also wrote to the Traffic and Safety Council of Zimbabwe as well. So was that the process for you?
After going through this report, in the spirit of ease of doing business, so I thought just approaching the OPC, the overall, how can I put it? Njengomnikazi we-government. So OPC, I approached the chief secretary through writing a letter introducing the concept. And I copied that letter to the Minister of Health and Minister of Transport and Traffic Safety Council. Fortunately enough, the OPC practiced what they preach, ease of doing business. Within 5 working days, can you imagine the office of the World Chief Secretary, just an ordinary person like me, getting a response within 5 working days? So from there, I was directed to approach the Minister of Health, as this thing mostly entails it's a health facility, and the Minister of Health is the responsible authority. So I went to the Minister of Health. Again, from the Minister of Health, it only took them 10 working days. I got an approval. So now it was showing they are putting more importance to save lives. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. And then you then also wrote to the World Health Organization. What did you write to them and how did they help you in line with trying to set up this road emergency clinic?
Yeah, coming up with a concept, it doesn't mean you are a millionaire or you are a billionaire or you have money. I just developed a concept without financial resources, because for this thing to work, it needs a lot of financial resources. So now, on the same day, I thought of approaching the World Health Organization and the Minister of Finance. So fortunately, a World Health Organization, like the Office of President and Cabinet, responded within 5 working days. Unfortunately, the Minister of Finance, until this date, they haven't responded. So even when I did a physical follow-up, I was posted from this office to that office, from this individual to that individual. So that's the unfortunate part. At the same time, I cannot say I'm disappointed, but it's, how can I put it? Kuyadanisa ukuthi the Minister of Finance proposed the 5% road accident fund in the national budget since 2019 to date. So that 5% they are collecting is from third-party
insurance.
Okay, so
okay.
Can you imagine, since 2019
up to now
2022, how much is it? And if it only takes 5 days for the office of the Chief Secretary to respond, the Minister of Health, and it takes all this time for the Minister of Finance to respond, while at least they budgeted for this since 2019. So ingathi nje ingxaki ekhona.
All right, so it's very interesting there. And I'm sure people are wondering, Uti, you went to all of these offices, Uti Wahamba, the office of the president, you responded to it within 5 days, the World Health Organization within 10 working days, and then Lapa Minister of Finance, they are very slow. I mean, like, this is a report that came out in 2021 when you've approached and written them letters and the likes. Have they explained to you as to why they're taking so long to disperse the funds or to get back to you essentially?
I cannot say they have said anything because they haven't responded. Because when I approached them, I was posted from this office to that office. I came empty-handed. So I cannot say the reason. I can only presume what they introduced this fund in 2019, but they didn't regulate it, how it's gonna be used and who can tap into it. That's
An assumption on your part.
an assumption. But for now, they haven't responded. So to me, I can say that failure to respond or the time taken to respond is like they're not putting the importance of lives or to the travelers or passengers or to the road accident victims. Then also my other worry is to the road accident victims. All passenger transporters, they should have passengers insurance. But if you can cross-check some of the buses or some of the public passenger transporters, they don't have that passenger insurance. Currently, you can just have a random check. And if you look into when an accident happens, who caters for the accident victims? Who pays the bills? Actually, that also a passenger insurance should also come into what?
And cater for
At
that.
the end of the day, kuphetha kusiba izihlobo, abazali, abangane, kumbe church. So we need to put our heads together because we are all road users. And one way or the other, it's gonna be you tomorrow, it's gonna be me today. So let's not take it as yinto kabani.
Absolutely. And then as you were talking, I was just thinking to myself that in line with how you're saying with the Ministry of Finance has taken so very long to respond to you essentially on such a noble cause as well. Have you also tried approaching e-civic society to come and perhaps push the wheels while we get to Ministry of Finance? Because it seems like when they're really taking things very slowly. Have you also tried approaching other organizations, civic society as well, to try and help you with this initiative?
No, I haven't. So I thought government, the president has said clearly, so he can't be everywhere because he had his officers who are supposed to be doing this. And I'm also his officer because I'm a Zimbabwean. So I'm part of also kuvaka nyika yacho iyoyo because ndiyangu niwe ndiri mwene wayo by virtue of being a Zimbabwean. Yes, so that's my contribution, but this is the glitch that the Minister of Finance isifuna ukuthi iqalelwe ngama donors. We should be exemplary. Actually, we should have put a pilot one fully funded by the government. Then these other civic organizations maybe will chip in rather than ukuthi uqala ama civic organization. This is why we first approached the government. And now, Minister of Health, Minister of Transport through the Traffic Safety Council, they've approved. Now the stumbling block, we can't tap into that 5% road accident fund from our national, budgeted by the Minister of Finance from 2019 to date. Yes.
Okay. Well, very interesting. Okay, as the concept developer behind this, what is your idea behind the roadside emergency clinic? Because I'm trying to visualize as well. What would I be encountering? Say, should I be a victim of a road accident, or should I be a passenger in a car or the likes as I use those roads? What is it going to be like?
Yeah, road accident clinic, what we've done so far, whilst we are waiting two things: to get a site and funding. So we have mapped the whole country, black spots along our main roads or highways. For instance, Bulawayo Bight Bridge, we've strategically located Imakado. Then Bulawayo Plumtree, Imarula. So Bulawayo Gweru, Shangani. Then Harare Mtare, Nyazura. Then Harare Nyamapanda, Suswe. Then Harare Chirundu border post, with site Imakoti. Then Chinoi Chegutu, Mrombezi Turnoff. Then Harare Mashingo, Featherstone. Then Harare Mtare, we've said it, Nyazora. Then Chiredzi, Tanganda, Save Bridge. Then Zvishabane, Mbalabala, Scooter. Then Zvishabane, Mashingo. Then Gweru Chibi, we've targeted Mandamahwe. Then Gutu Chiredzi, or Chifu Chiredzi, or Gutu Chiredzi, whatever comes first. And Mashingo Pikita, we've targeted Roy. So these are, then Victoria Falls Bulawayo Road, we've targeted Cross Dete and Insuza. And unfortunately, that site, some few days ago, with a very fatal accident again, whereby 4 lives were lost there. And I said, this is the site we've identified. Coincidentally, if we moved with the speed, we should maybe, by God's grace,
have saved lives.
Saved lives, because the clinic should have been established there, because it's a site that we have eyed. So unfortunately, getting even a stand to establish these clinics is not that easy.
Really?
It's not that easy.
What's the hindrance?
You see, the local authorities, I'll give you a good example. We approached because we wanted this concept to initially, the first pilot roadside emergency clinic to start at Rutenga. So Rutenga falls under Mwenezara DC. So instead of realizing the impact or taking the concept as a solution to save lives, they are worried about the person, Ndiwani, unoita nezvei. So we ended up also approaching the PMSEC local government for recourse. But unfortunately, it's still very difficult to get a stand in Mwenez RDC, because we wanted that pilot project to start at Rutenga, because the concept is all about, if we don't have accident at the time, the clinic should save or service the community. So hence these strategic areas whereby there is a community. And more so, how I would like it to be, some accidents, they need to be attended by fire brigade. So this roadside emergency clinic have to have some sub fire brigade station, because you cannot have an accident in Rutenga, then that needs fire brigade, then you phone Triangle or Mashingo or Bight Bridge. They are all about in the range of over 150 kilometers away. So when they arrive at the scene, there will be nothing. So now we are saying, let us be closer to ama-black spot or ku-highway khonapho ukuthi at least in between these towns and cities kungathiwa i-accident yenzakale in between Rutenge and Ngundu, then i-distance leyana incane easily fire brigade police because this concept should that clinic should have a police post inside, mean fire brigade inside, and that clinic should have an x-ray under what circumstances and should be manned by a physician and a radiologist, because you cannot say I'm having an x-ray machine then you don't have a
radiologist
stationed there.
Yes.
So we should have permanent doctors stationed in these roadside emergency clinics. Yes.
All right. So what other challenges have you encountered so far in trying to set up?
Yeah, I think so far the buy-in, especially from the Minister of Finance and the other local, except for the local authorities in Matabeleland South, unanimously they are working on the proposed size. So for now we are saying we had difficulties in accessing a stand in Mwene's RDC in Rutenga. So now we have been proposing that because of ease of accessing sites in Matabeleland South, so let's have a pilot project. And more so in that review report, more accidents were reported in Mat South. So it will also be wise, just go through that report. You will see that in Mat South, especially the Plumtree Blawe Road, according to that report, I think if I'm not mistaken, that's the road with highest number of So it will also be proper for me as a concept developer to have the first pilot roadside emergency clinic in Matabeleland South, because they have warmed up to the idea and they're also now pushing me. How far have you gone? When are you coming? You see, they're not worried about where are you going to get money? How much is in your account? Who is funding you? What they want is the concept materializing.
Absolutely. All right. And I'm sure someone is watching this and they're now keen on maybe participating, whether they're in civil society or even in government as well. What message would you like to give to people who would like to participate and to help you with this noble concept?
Yeah, from the government and civic organization, what I've noticed, because when you develop a concept, when you try to operationalize it, you learn a lot along the way. So what I've learned is accidents, they fall under disaster management, and disaster management falls under the Ministry of Local Government. But they involve civic protection unity, which is 100% under the Ministry of Local Government, then the army. So I have also engaged the army. Again, I wrote to the army on 29 July 2022. By 12 August, I got a very warm response, which shows their real concern and they want this, because this report is really damaging the image of the country, because being the highest in Africa, so we have to pull all whatever we have to make sure we save the image of the country while saving our own citizens. Yes. My final remarks, I have an appeal to the central government to consider taking into account remarks from the MEC Health Limpopo province in South Africa, to prioritize availing funding, also availing sites as indicated in our mapping of the black spots across the country, because we had about 18 black spots. So that's my appeal to the central government, or even the civic societies, that they can chip in. We are all passengers. We are all vulnerable to accident. We want it, we don't want it. This will save all of us, direct or indirectly. So I would just appeal to whoever wants to assist to make this thing come to reality and save, especially road users and communities around those black spots, which are just prone to road accidents. So hence a call for everyone concerned about saving lives in our road, not to see it as a personal project for certain reason, no, but as a life saving concept to all of us. Hence this appeal.
Mr. Nothiwani Dlodlo, thank you so much for coming through to the Breakfast Club and for highlighting this important cause. I mean, like you said, it's worrying that we're ranked number 1 in Africa, but more so it's worrying that we are losing lives on our roads each and every day through road fatalities. So thank you so much for this noble cause, and we wish you all the best in your endeavors to set up the roadside emergency clinics throughout the country.
Thank you so much.
All right. And to you at home, thank you so much for joining us once again on the Breakfast Club. Like I said earlier on, Zimbabwe has the highest fatalities in terms of road accidents. If there's something we can do to salvage the situation, then let us do that. Let us be proactive. From myself, Fungai, make sure you join me again on the Breakfast Club tomorrow. And please don't forget to like and to follow us on all our social media sites, where it's Site ZW on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as on Twitter. From myself and the team behind the scenes, goodbye.